Good morning, guys. What's going on? It is Wednesday, November 2nd, and today we're doing this. What's up? Testing out the Nikon against the Sony, and yeah, it might be a bit unfair because the Sony is so much more expensive, but the early indication was that this camera was supposed to be a pretty good camera. Now, in my opinion, in the right light, it is a pretty good video camera. Picture-wise, I haven't tested it yet. I'm just really looking for, you know, a less expensive vlogging camera to see how it would play out. And if I could save a couple bucks, you know, maybe sell the Sony and use this. But just testing in my office where I do a lot of shooting, I don't think this would work down there. And the lighting, it's plenty of light. I don't understand what that's all about, but you know, I can keep messing with it. So this is the official test, road test, mind you, of the Sony versus the Nikon. And you know, I'll put the windows down and see how that plays out. Now, of course, I have the Sony over here to the left and the Nikon over to the right. And you know, the angle is a little different, but I will switch it out. And then when I get home tonight, you know, I'll put them side by side so you can get a really good idea of how they work, or maybe I'll swap these out. What we're really testing here is how the mics work in a louder environment. Sunlight, obviously good lighting, and really determine if, you know, a less expensive camera can do just as good for what maybe you need it for. Maybe you're only doing video or taking pictures in well-lit areas and you're not going to worry about that. You know, I've tried point-and-shoot Canons in the past, and you know, when everybody tells me that they love them and they think they're absolutely awesome cameras, I was never really happy with them at all, especially taking pictures in not so great conditions where I've seen other cameras do better. And I just never understood the love for Canon point-and-shoot. I even tried that Canon as a vlog camera. I don't even remember the name of the model at this point. But I just didn't think it was good at all. It didn't have good focus. I just was not happy with it at all. And that was not a cheap camera. So for that to do what it did, I was not impressed with it at all. Other people use it, and I just don't think it looks as good as what I see from the Sony. So I swapped the cameras out. And as you can see, the poor Sony does not do so well with lighting over on this side. If it starts shining through the back window, I apologize. But right now we've got a pretty good shot going on here. And looks like this extension piece kind of shakes a little bit. So try to keep it on a smooth road here. And I think that might be because of the extension on the end of here. It kind of is a little taller than the other mount, so that's kind of odd. So has more room, maybe more wiggle room on it. And of course, this is the Nikon in, you know, where the Sony was, kind of giving it an idea. Little fair shake there. Maybe the better angle in the car, in my opinion, because of the lighting and all of that. And so I think the double suction cup might be a lot more sturdy. But then again, the pin doesn't go up all the way, so I think it's a lot more sturdy on that. So that's a knock against that single one. But it did good with the phone, which is what I would be using it for most of the time anyway. So some bad backlight there because on the old Sony, but it seems to be holding up pretty well. And again, in that shot, you know, there won't be a whole lot of noise. It'll be at least a clean shot. It'll be darker, but at least it'll be a clean shot. Whereas the Nikon would kind of blow it out a little bit, and the back would be blown out to keep the inside light, which the Sony's doing a little bit of. I shouldn't say a little bit. You definitely can't see the clouds back there. But I'll have to go back and look at the footage and see how it looks. Alright guys, so we are back to somewhat of a similar setup. I wanted to get these things on both the same side. And I've got them like off to the way side off here, just basically sitting on top of each other. And because I wanted to get the same angle on these. And I don't even know which one I should be talking to right now. Yeah, it's that dark in here. The Sony looked a lot better as far as the lighting went, so let's get out on the road. Alright, so I've adjusted the cameras a little bit, and we're trying the windows down thing. I've only got the driver's side window down right now, and we're on the Nikon. So also the Sony's a little bit closer to the window, so we'll see how that goes. I did adjust the angle a little bit, so it's a little further back. So we'll see how that goes as far as that angle. It is a little bit closer to the window, so I don't know if the wind noise is going to be a little bit different. So we shall see. But of course, we both have the sun behind each shot, and that way it's more fair. So when it hits, you'll see if anything changes. I'll change the camera angle as I'm talking, and that way you guys can see exactly which footage is from which camera, which I don't think it'll be too difficult to figure out. When the lighting is good on the Nikon, I think it is a very good video camera, and you know, it's a little bit different as far as the colors. It's a lot more warm than the Sony. That's a personal preference to many people. They might like those more rich colors, and you know, it just kind of looks nicer. Whereas the Sony is more real to life, and it's just a more of a flat tone, which of course you can adjust in post. I mean, it's not completely out of the question to fix that. If you want to, it just depends on how much work you want to put into it. You know, and if you can find what you like, maybe through a setting, or, you know, changing the white balance, it's up to you, or the ISO. But the less you got to change, the easier, of course. And the most important thing beyond that is audio. You know, there's not a whole lot you can do with the audio if it's too tinny or not loud enough or just not a good microphone. So if you have to pick or choose what you want, that's the determination. As far as the Nikon goes, features-wise, there's some less features on this. One of the things that really annoys me is that when I'm on manual mode, I need to go out to the menu, go away from the screen so I can't look at the shot, to adjust ISO to determine where my shot's going, and it's extremely limited by that. Now again, $400 camera, so I had to get that into my mind that it's a $400 camera, so the ISO level is vastly decreased, how low you can go or how high you can go. I think the minimum is 400 and the max is 3200, whereas the Sony can go all the way down to 50 and go as high as 10,000 or 15,000, something like that. Not that I would ever shoot at that, but if you're in a really dark situation, you really need to bump up that ISO just to make the shot happen, you know, get something. Although it may be very noisy in the picture, you still have the ability to do that. So that's that. And that's the open window shot, driving by a Big Mac truck between the two of them. And hopefully you get an idea and maybe help you decide. So let's put down all of the windows, because this is how I like to drive. And we'll see exactly how this plays out between the two. And, you know, it didn't turn out too bad for the Nikon when I was doing it, you know, but it still was very noisy considering it had a setting to limit that, whereas the Sony just was the Sony. I don't even think there's a noise reduction on that, so we'll see. But I'm not liking this angle for the Sony. It's too low to bring it back up, and it might be a little bit closer, but I don't know. You're getting the idea. I think it might be a little bit darker because it's sitting lower and kind of shooting up at me. So we'll see. All right, so here we are, side by side, comparing the two, not in a car, with the windows down or bumping around. So let's just walk around and get a good test of these. And some pretty okay light. I mean, it's not super bright out right now, but you know, there's enough light that I think it qualifies as proper lighting, or good lighting for that matter. And you know, give a test of these two cameras to see you know, if a $400 camera can do what you need, you know, compared to a $800-900 camera. I don't know what this is going to be going down to because of the M5 being out, but you know, it's interesting to see what's going on. What's up, sweetie? You know, I am testing these out together. What does that look for?
Camera.
Yes. So I think that's enough. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm gonna go look at the footage. Maybe I'll interject and jump in a little bit and see what's doing. All right, just for giggles, extreme low light test, and this would be the Nikon. Yep. There's maybe like a brake light, something. I can't see you guys either. Okay, so no low light test on the Nikon, even though it has a low light setting. So let's try, or I should say barely any light. So real quick, I forgot that I had this. This is the Rx100 Mark II. This obviously is an older camera. You might find at the same price, maybe a little less than the Nikon, and here is a lower light. Now, one thing you do have to remember is this does not have a flip-up display, so you're limited to what you want to be careful of what you're shooting because you can't see the display on that. However, you know, video-wise, you know, I think it looks pretty good. There's an option. I just wanted to put that in there just to show you guys real quick. And again, here is the Nikon in the exact same setting right next to that Mark II. And I think it's pretty easy to determine, you know, the quality that the Sony can do, and you necessarily don't have to get the Mark IV. You could get the Mark II if you're looking for that kind of video to do that. Now, of course, you can also use the app to see yourself if you need to line up the shot for the Sony Mark II, which, in my opinion, is a doable app, and you can definitely use that. All right, we're calling it. I know some people are going to be like, well, you know, it's a $400 camera. But after watching the Mark II next to that, no dice. So Nikon's got to go back. Definitely would rather use the Sony Mark II over that. I didn't even bust out the Mark II, not even realizing it would be that good compared to the Nikon. So I'm calling it there. So that's all she wrote. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a like. And of course, subscribe to get the next one. Thank you for all the support. You all have a good day, and of course, till the next one, see ya!